Hey y'all, you're about to watch a video on how I made apple cider donuts that are gluten-free. And before the video starts, I just have to say, these are the best apple cider donuts I think I've ever had. And the fact that they're gluten-free is just such a bonus, but gluten-free or not, these are incredible. They were so good yesterday when we got them out of the oven and got to taste them warm. But then today I put them in the air fryer for just a minute and kind of got it crispy on the outside. And I think that was even better. Anyway, I never do this, but I just had to get on first and just say, make these donuts. They are so good. Enjoy. Hey, welcome to MiGi and Poppy's Kitchen, where Poppy cannot eat gluten, but doesn't mean he shouldn't have to miss out on the best things about fall, like apple cider donuts, right? Okay, so I went to a fall festival with my daughter and her children last week, and they had some freshly made apple cider donuts. And so, of course, we had to get some, but every once in a while, it just hits me that, wow, Phil can't eat these. That's so sad. And then I thought, I bet I can find a recipe for apple cider donuts. And I have. So we're going to try these together and let's see if they are as good as the Fall Festival donuts. And that's going to be hard to beat, but we'll see. Okay, so let's get right into these because I am so excited. And they do have to chill for 30 minutes. So I don't want to wait. Let's get going. Okay, so for the first thing we're going to do, we are going to whisk the dry ingredients together. And that is 1.5 cups of gluten-free all-purpose flour. It should have xanthan gum in it, which every gluten-free flour that I've gotten just at the grocery store always has xanthan gum. So, and I'm using King Arthur Measure for Measure. It has xanthan gum. Okay, and then 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And I will link the recipe to the bottom of this. I had those mixed together in there. So I've got both of those. Then I've got this mixed together in here. 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1/2 of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. Yum. Okay, and then 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. And that's it for the dry ingredients. And then we're going to whisk this together. Where did I put my whisk? Oh. Okay, so we're going to whisk the dry ingredients together so that it all gets incorporated evenly. And then we mix the wet ingredients together, which is a cup of apple cider. And they said to be sure it's apple cider, not apple juice. But it's October, and everywhere you go, you're going to see apple cider now. And I'm sure if it's not October, you'll still find apple cider pretty easily. Then 1/4 of a cup of unsweetened applesauce, and it said that adds moisture and flavor, so don't omit that. 2 large eggs, 1 and 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil or vegetable oil, and I have coconut oil, and then a teaspoon of vanilla extract, my homemade. I'll link my a little bit more than that. That will never hurt anybody. I'll link my recipe for my homemade vanilla. So good. So worth it. Okay, so then we're going to whisk this together. And anytime I whisk eggs with things, you just make sure those eggs are really good and broken up. Okay, that smells really good. Okay, so we whisk that. Then we're going to pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and gently mix until just combined. And it says be careful not to overmix the batter because that's going to make tough donuts. Who wants tough donuts? Okay, so I'm just going to do this with a spoon. Just Kind of mix it together until it's just combined. You know, that's always on the brownie. If you make brownies with brownie mix, you'll always see that too. Mix until just combined. Don't stir it too much. So I never have stirred brownies too much because that is always kind of a ominous warning. Do not mix too much. Okay, I'm stopping because it looks like it's good and combined. Okay, this is going to be the hard part. Now you're going to cover this with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. And they said even overnight if you want to, like if you want to start making this the day before and then just keep it overnight. And it says, let me read why it says, because I thought this was a good reason. Okay, it says chilling the batter allows the gluten-free flour to hydrate properly. And so I get that. Things are a little drier in the gluten-free world if you don't make them correctly. So let's do this the right way because I think these are going to be delicious. Okay, you're about to go in the refrigerator for 30 minutes and then we'll be back after that. Okay, so they have chilled and it says to fill a piping bag or a like plastic sandwich bag with the chilled dough, and then we're going to put it in donut pans. I found these on Amazon. I'll put a link to the bottom for the ones that I found because whoever I was watching that was making, as I was looking for recipes, they said these were really good. So anyway, I ordered the ones that they suggested, and so we're going to see how they do. But if you don't have a piping bag or a sandwich bag that you cut the little corner off with to squeeze the dough out with, it says you can carefully spoon the dough into the pan, but I don't carefully do anything, so I'm going to do it with my piping bag. It says to fill it about 3/4 of the way full for each little donut cavity. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, this is easy with a little piping bag. Oh, let me do one where you can probably see. I know it's hard to see. Put more dough in there. Okay, so about 3/4 of the way full, I would say. Do another one. Okay, they smell really good. Okay, so I'm going to finish filling these up, and then you bake it in a 350-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes, and it says just until the edges are browned, so to kind of be watching it. So going to finish doing that, put them in the oven, and then we will take it from there. It took about 14 minutes in my oven, and look how good these look. Oh my goodness. And it made exactly 12, and they did rise, and they just look like good fluffy donuts. I'm so excited. So I'm going to let these cool in the pan for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll cool them on the cooling rack. And while they are cooling on the cooling rack, we will make the glaze, and I'll show you how to finish these off to hopefully make them extra delicious. They smell so good. If that's any indication of how they're going to taste, we're in for a treat. Okay. And they've been out for about 2 minutes. So let's see how they come out pretty well. Yep, perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to take these out and let them cool on the cooling rack. Now, on the wire rack. Now, when it says to let them cool completely before we do the next step. I'm not a very patient person. Just ask Poppy. So mine might not be cooled completely, but I am going to let them cool some. So I'll finish this, then we'll get to the glaze. Okay, those are cooling, and so we're going to get started with the glaze. It's 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1/4 of a cup of apple cider, just that same apple cider used for the donuts. A tablespoon of melted butter or coconut oil. I've got melted butter. And then 1/2 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And we are supposed to whisk this together. And it says it needs to be thin enough to coat the donut, but not to just stick on there so that it kind of slides off. And if it's too thick, to just gradually add a little bit more apple cider to it. And mine is thick, so I'm going to add a little apple cider at a time. Okay. I don't know if you can see, but it's just kind of a little runny, but still thick. I think that's going to be perfect. They're still not cool. Oh, I want to get started, but I'll wait. I'm going to give it just a few minutes, and then we'll get back and finish them off. I can't wait to try these. They smell so good. So here we go. They are cooled, not completely, but pretty cool. All right, and so what it says is we're going to take the glaze mixture. I mean, you just keep it in your bowl, and then you're going to dip the donut into the glaze. Now, I do think that she meant only one side, like dip one side. We're going for double sides. Okay, so I'm going to just sink it in there. And I turned it over, and now I'm going to let it just drip because it is. And I have this cooling rack right here, and I've got a baking pan underneath it, like a cookie sheet, to catch the dripping so I won't make such a big mess. Oh, okay. I don't know if you saw that, but glaze went flying. As I said, I'm trying not to make a big mess. Okay, so then you're supposed to sprinkle it with cinnamon and sugar or whatever other topping you want. I want cinnamon and sugar. So I had to look up because I usually just make cinnamon and sugar just off the cuff, just mix cinnamon and sugar together. But the official ratios are 1/2 of a cup of granulated sugar to 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. Okay, so I made that. So I'm going to sprinkle it over this one while the glaze is still wet. This looks so good. And I don't know if I already mentioned it, made 12 donuts. A good size donuts. I mean, they rose and yeah, they're really like a big donut. Okay. Drip, drip, drip. Get it a little. Okay, and then we're going to sprinkle cinnamon sugar just to your liking. This looks like it is just going to be delicious. See, I mean, I do feel so sorry for Poppy because there are so there are so many things that we just take for granted when you don't have a diet restriction. And you know, there's all the time like donuts, you know, that you can't eat unless you have a good gluten-free recipe. And this looks like a really good one. I can't wait to try these. All right, I'm gonna stop this and call Poppy in here and get him to taste them for us and see what he thinks about our gluten-free apple cider donuts. I'm so excited. Okay, hold on just a minute. I'll go get Poppy. Okay, Poppy was working out, so I had time just to go ahead and glaze all of them. You haven't even tasted it yet.
Talking about my workout.
Oh. Okay, so I went ahead and glazed all of them, sprinkled them with cinnamon and sugar. It was exactly the right amount of glaze. It worked out perfectly. And they look and smell delicious. We're tasting them still a little bit warm. I think you're supposed to let them cool off, but
Who doesn't like a hot donut?
That's right. All right, let's taste it.
I better go back in for another bite.
That tastes like the real thing.
That's delicious. When you have to go gluten-free, you just pass up all the really good donuts that, I mean, they all look good to you. So when you finally get to eat one,
And that tastes
gonna
like the
devour
real apple cider donut.
that's delicious. I'm glad I got several of them to eat right here.
That will be so good with your coffee in the morning.
All 5 of them will be. Yep.
Well, there'll be 11. Well, no, 10, because I'll be eating one before we go to bed. But this is a winner. This is a wonderful recipe, and I'll have the recipe linked to the bottom. Try it. You got to do this one.
Absolutely recommend it. It's delicious.
Happy fall.
See ya.